hang in there. We're it's not gonna be over like this. I swear. I'm gonna carry the team. Don't worry, guys. Just
I'm joined with Fakegod after an unfortunate defeat to Dignitas. Fakegod, talk to me about that game going in from the very beginning when you guys picked Garen as your 5 pick and you didn't really go any AP. That felt like it made the game really hard? Is that accurate from your perspective, or do you think it was like maybe a different issue that caused the game to be hard?
our the draft was going pretty normal until we went to 4-5. It was like, all right, so top lane, Cassandra looks pretty good here. I'll pick Cassandra. And then we are talking about mid pick. And then there are two options. It was an option I won't say, and then it was Garen. And then we were just like talking like, I are we really picking Garen here? Like, is it that good? It's like, I think so. And then I think there was a game plan we had that kind of depended on the Garen pick to help us, but there was like a slight miscommunication with what the champ could do for us, and it led to some problems in our early game, early to mid, I would say. I don't think we even brought up the question of full AD, but yeah, we were actually full AD, and probably should have thought about that a little bit too. But that wasn't like our main concern at all. It was just about like how the early game would go, and usually like you don't really care about armor stacking until really like mid game or late game for the tanks. It just makes it easier for them, but that wasn't like our main concern.
Okay, that's interesting because we've seen AP Maokai with Leandries being so OP, and it seemed like okay, you guys were just going to shift to AP, but you didn't do that. So I guess you guys already had a game plan going in and had like a methodology. I guess I'm sure you guys have practiced this. When it comes to practice, how do you guys balance trying these awesome picks? Right, Shopify is the most entertaining team to watch. Maybe Immortals too, because they're like beating everyone, but it's very entertaining watching you guys, but if you guys are constantly playing these different picks, how do you manage to really shore up your fundamentals and learn how to play the game from a basic level?
Oh, I would say we're not like playing these random picks every game we play in scrims. I would say like the majority of our games in scrims are pretty normal. So this is only for kind of special occasions. Like we're still practicing the same stuff, and also even with like a special counter pick, you could say the game is still the same thing. We just have like an interesting pick maybe, and we have to play around like different timers, or just like let go of like certain things that are really normal, like having uh an AP mid laner, I guess. I guess you could say. I would say the strats that like there are some strats that would warp the state of the game that make it harder to practice fundamentals. Like I would say like the Scion mid combo with something that is much more drastic of a change. But I would say our fundamentals in scrims and practice are still being practiced, and it's not like a huge issue for us playing these interesting champions.
All right, and right now you guys have fell to eighth place. I'm sure this isn't the expectation of what you guys were expecting when you started the season. How has the environment in Shopify been?
Well, it's all been pretty similar. It's just our coaches, we had like a meeting, a pretty long meeting about like everything, and that was basically it. Just not like incredibly, we're not like getting like super hard pressured that we're last place right now, but just like it's like a reminder that we need to like step it up and just keep working hard and in practice, and just keep like putting in the hours basically, and making sure that we don't end up in last place when the playoff or when the season is over. I'd say we lost today, so I guess that doesn't hold too much weight. But um, I don't think the environment is gonna change like too hard for this week. We'll just like be like, damn, that sucks. We lost. Okay, like what can we do now? Like what like why did we lose? Like what can we change? And then how should we prepare for our next teams? And then we'll just do that, see what happens, and then maybe we need to have another meeting, or maybe we'll have a meeting anyways, even if we win. So I'll just see you then. But for me personally, I'm not like too affected right now. I think that like I'm definitely like worried a little bit about like, oh man, we're eighth place. Like I don't want to like end the spring split like this, but worrying about that isn't gonna change that, and it's not gonna help me get out of that. So I'm just thinking in the present right now, and right now I'm just mostly thinking about the next matches this week because we still have two matches to win. We win those, it'll be like we'll be like 3-4. Not too bad.
All right, I like the confidence. I was talking to Revan about you, and he said that you are the most diligent player he's ever met or he's ever coached. The first three games that you played were kind of rough. They were all against
Yeah.
Udyr, but they're still kind of rough. The past
There
two
might be a
games, there might be a connection. The past two games, you've looked a lot better, and even today you got a solo kill. Is that really it? Like you played against Udyr, you didn't have a good showing. Now that the enemy team is off Udyr, you can really shine, or do you feel like maybe you had some stage jitters? Like, what do you think is the diagnosis?
For me, I would say it was a combination. Like one, I'm against Udyr. Like in my head, there's not much you can do against Udyr in lane. And then two is I was definitely thinking about like nerves and being way too nervous on stage in general for those first two games. Like even like the third game, honestly. So I just had to. I was just thinking of like why my mentality was like that, and just thinking like really hard on what I wanted to change the next time I played on stage, and just thinking about that only for preparation for the matches. And I think it showed a little bit. And I think like this game today, I played like my best, I would say, like in terms of like calms and stuff, except for the team fights. Like I rushed those too fast. Like there wasn't like I didn't play perfectly, but I would say it was probably like one of my cleanest games, except for the team fights, like I said. But for your original question, I think it was just both. It was like against Udyr, there's not a lot of options. And in the beginning, when Udyr was first picked, it was like a lot of people didn't know what you could actually do into it. So it just felt very limiting. And then second, I was just a little too nervous for my first weeks.
All right, anything you want to say to the fans?
Uh, just hang in there, guys.
We're hanging. We're hanging.
Hang in there. We're it's not gonna be over like this. I swear. I'm gonna carry the team. Don't worry, guys. Just thank you for believing. I'm gonna carry the team. Just hang in there.
All right, Fakegod, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching that interview. You'll notice this week I didn't use the word like 5,000 times a sentence, which I'm happy about. The interviews I did were pretty good. I'm happy with the answers that I got. If you haven't subscribed yet, why not? What are you waiting for? Just do it. Just subscribe.